Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Gruesome and Grotesque video. As always, I just do these videos randomly when I come across something that I read online, either through the Google News app or some cases it's Reddit or another various set of online resources. In this case, this was a story that I had originally read about 2 years ago, and I just plain forgot about it. It was just there on the side. But I decided to look up at some of the past things that I've saved, saw this story here, and so I wanted to go ahead and share it on this playlist. As you can see on the headline, you'll see a reason why I originally saved it. What this woman did when it came to getting revenge on her husband absolutely stood out. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'll share that information here, and then I'd love to hear what your own thoughts and comments are on it too. But as you can see from the headline, we'll talk about this. It's about the woman who used boiling water and sugar to kill her husband. So you'll know those details here in just a moment. So here's what happened. Now, remember, I read this about 2 years ago, but apparently the incident occurred even before then. Apparently this act actually happened in July of 2020. So here's what occurred. There in the United Kingdom, there was a couple, there was a woman by the name of Karina Smith, and then there was a man by the name of Michael Baines who lived together. She was 59, he was 81 at the time of the attack itself. So according to police, here's what occurred. There was apparently a rumor circulating about that man, Michael Baines, that he had done something very, very bad when it came to children. I can't mention exactly what that is because YouTube has very strict censorships. If you want to know more info, you can read about that article online and you'll see exactly what it mentions. But this woman, Karina Smith, heard about those rumors, and part of it actually came from her own daughter, who also mentioned that her own brother, so in this case her son, was also experiencing those very bad activities. And unfortunately, very tragically, that son ended up committing blank, I can't really say that word either, on YouTube back in 2007. And so when that occurred, that essentially caused her to culminate into this one fateful day. Once she heard about these rumors, that's when she realized that something else was happening and she was going to take care of it right then and there. So on that fateful moment in July of 2020, based on these rumors and who knows what other evidence she had gathered, at least in her own mind, she decided to go into her garden. She got a bucket, like a large bucket, the kind that's used specifically for that type of environment in the garden, and then she added water, set it to a boiling temperature, and then mixed in not just one, not just two, but 3 bags of sugar. And then while that man was sleeping, she actually, because of his age, being 81 as well, she was actually her caretaker. So in her case, she was always with him all the time. She went to the bed, and then while he was sleeping, apparently maybe even shirtless because of what happened next, she ended up pouring that mixture of boiling water and sugar all over his arms and his torso. Of course, this was something that caused him extreme pain because of the temperature and because of the sugar. More on that here in just a moment as to those effects. And then once that happened, she ended up going to a neighbor, but this was apparently somebody that was way down, like when it came to the houses, like maybe 9 houses down, according to another article that I was reading. And then that's when she knocked on the door and kept knocking until someone answered. And that's when she told that person, that neighbor, her exact words were, "I've hurt him really bad. I think I've killed him." And so that neighbor ended up calling the police. The police came over. They found the man there in his bed. He was completely just so much in pain, whimpering in pain. Apparently, he had suffered 36% of his body in terms of burns. He was rushed to the hospital and he stayed there an entire month during that time period. And then as it happened with him, he ended up actually passing away because of what this woman had done. So again, according to the rumors she was hearing about what he did to the children, and apparently her own son and daughter, then that's when she in turn did this to him and then caused him this severe pain right before he ended up passing away. 36% burns, and then she ended up going to jail. She was found guilty because of this, and she ended up being sentenced to life in prison, and she has to serve at least 12 years, a minimum of 12 years, before I guess she's eligible for parole. I don't know exactly how the court system works there in the United Kingdom. Let me know if it's similar here to the U.S., at least when it comes to that regard. But in other words, she'd still be eligible for something to come out in terms of release from prison, maybe sometime soon. But this is what stood out. Detective Chief Inspector Paul Hughes of the Cheshire Constabulary's Major Crime Directorate stated, and this was what made me want to post this in this article, post it on this playlist here. He said, Smith killed her husband Michael in such a painful and cruel way. To throw boiling water over someone when they are asleep is absolutely horrific. To also mix 3 bags of sugar with the water showed the determination she had to cause serious harm. The sugar placed into the water makes it vicious. It becomes thicker and stickier and sinks into the skin better. It left Michael in agony, and rather than call the emergency services, she wasted time by going to a house 9 doors away to tell a neighbor, who she wasn't even close to, what she had done. And so again, that's what stood out, and then that's why I wanted to share that information here, because apparently how he ended up dying, who knew that when it comes to having a mixture of water and then sugar and then setting it to a boiling temperature like that can cause extreme torturous pain, but that's essentially what happened to him. Now, I have no idea, like when it comes to those rumors, if any of it was true. Nothing was ever taken to court, obviously, because he ended up passing away. Nothing was ever found in terms of him being guilty. In her mind, he obviously was, and who knows, like there's no way for me to say yay or nay when it comes to that. But in her mind, she was completely set when it comes to doing this form of punishment, and she decided to just right then and there do it at that point. As of right now, I believe she's still there in prison, and whenever she comes up for release, then who knows, there might be some more information about anything associated with what he did to those children and other stuff that might leak sometime forward that'll show more proof or evidence. And if that's the case, then maybe that'll help vindicate something along those lines. But at least the courts, they decided that in her situation, what she did was considered wrong. And then because of it, then that's why she's now in jail. But let me know what you guys think as far as this, a form of self-justice, almost like a form of punishment. It's something that she did again back in July 2020, and it took a little bit of while, but then she was eventually sentenced afterward. Was it right? Was it wrong? Is there going to be evidence later on? Let me know what you guys think. Those of you that are on the local level as well, there in the United Kingdom, let me know what you guys think as well when it comes to the news you may have heard, if it was going around that area during that time period. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.